Okay, apparently I am recording, and that is a good thing. Okay. So I wanted to come on because I want to debunk Democrats. We have to keep debunking them. We have to. So first, I want to debunk this thing about Trump not spending money on the military like he said he is, because he is. So let's just look at the budget, and we're not going to go over this too much because we don't want to share too much of our American secrets online. We don't want the whole world knowing. But just quickly, this is of the air spending on the air, modernizing technology for the air, 57.7 billion, 34.7 billion. You can come back and look at how everything works there. There's even more spending down there. And then you can go to land. I just love Hummers, so I just really wanted to get to the Hummers. They're so cool, and these are really good. Land 14.6 billion. Okay, warfighting capabilities includes. I'm going down here. Includes 6,402 combat and tactical motorized vehicles. This was 7.2 billion spent this year. Includes 4,090 joint light tactical vehicles to provide unsurpassed mobile and protected firepower for battlefield superiority against opposing forces. Spent this year 1.6 billion. Includes 56 amphibious combat vehicles and armored personnel carrier for employment across the range of Marine Corps operation, including a swim capability. And that was 395 million. Okay. So I'm like I said, I'm not gonna go to too much of the defense. But what I am going to do is show you the Emerson Collective. Now, the Emerson Collective, what is that? Well, it's a social justice kind of group. Here we see collective follow Carla Cornigiro, whatever. Oh no. Talk about the undocumented Americans and the hard work of dismantling tropes about the immigrant community, okay? Designing racial justice, social justice and stuff. And let's look at their, priorities, okay? Their first priority is immigration. Second is education. And down here we have some Chicago cred where they I think they help at-risk teens to I guess finish high school and find employment. But the Chicago needs a lot of work. It's going to take more than that, but that's good. Social justice, elevating leaders and models at the forefront of change. Now that's questionable because that could be some like Antifa or Black Lives Matter. We don't know, so that will be allegedly, but they could be funding them. But why I brought this up, because guess who owns the president of Emerson Collective? Guess who that is? Want to know? This one. She also purchased the Emerson Collective, I should say, purchased the Atlantic. And now we know the Atlantic is the magazine that came out with the story about President Trump not wanting to get his hair wet and all this garbage about this disdain he had for the military. That's why I wanted to show you, the spending. So, because they're trying to debunk, oh, he really didn't spend that much and he really doesn't care. He also increased pay rate for military workers, and you could just ask them about that. He's done a great deal for law enforcement and the military. So he's law and order, and we see him supporting that. We see him get more border patrol hired, with a little bit better pay and giving them the tools that they needed. And you see him standing behind the police. Now, he's come out and said that he does not support, bad cops, but he doesn't feel, the president nor does anybody else feel the need to turn on the whole police department, because when you do that, things like what's going on in NYC, shootings every 5 minutes, things like that happen. Dysfunction happens. So you need law and order. But I found it very interesting. If you look on the side, it says jobs among ready for Hillary donors. So, without me saying it, I think you know where I'm going with this. So, you know, you can see this must have been maybe around the time Hillary was running, maybe after, I'm not sure. But, she's very enamored with Hillary. They were coming out, smiling, see, come here, happy, smiling. You see them sitting down, together. She's just happy. She's just happy, happy Hillary is there. She has a great deal of respect for Hillary. You know, I could see why she would. I know why I don't have any respect for her. I don't think anybody in the black community should. They talk about white supremacists and Jim Crow, and she was down with Jim Crow, but she's all forgiven. Joe Biden was down with Jim Crow. He's all forgiven. He's running for president. He was not only was he down with Jim Crow, he doubled down and got mass incarceration going on. For a lot of people. So, I don't see how anybody could support them. I don't see how they could even say anything about Trump and people believe it because it's always from some secret source. They put these stories out. They don't fully vet these things. They just put them out thinking that they're going to, I don't know what they think. I hope they don't think they're swaying Trump supporters because they're not. They're not swaying any Trump supporters. They're not going to get any Trump supporters to move. And if you do hear somebody saying they're a Trump supporter and no, I can't vote for him no more than likely they're lying. More than likely they're lying and they never were Trump supporters. So I just wanted to come on, like I said, you see where I went with this. The owner, of Atlantic just so happens to be the collective. What I said the name of that place was the Collective, Emerson Collective, which Miss Jobs happens to be the president of. She's the president of Emerson, which happens to own the Atlantic, and she's friends with who? So, enough said. It's a lot of stuff going on. They're pushing this mail-in ballot thing, and I just want to briefly just talk about Richie Torres and Ruben Diaz. Now, I'm for Ruben Diaz. I hope Ruben Diaz wins because he is for family. He's for family. He often speaks about the importance of family, man, woman, and child. And he shows some support for Trump. I'm not saying that he's a Trumper and he's gonna cast his vote for Trump, but he's not one that's totally against Trump's policies. So Ruben Diaz. I've liked the Ruben Diaz for a long time. His son is somewhat different for me, but like I said, I like Ruben Diaz. He's been around for a while, has a lot of experience, and he's for families of all ethnicities, not just he's for black families or he's for Puerto Rican families. He's for everybody. And Richie Torres is he's young, he's from the gay community. It's nothing wrong, I'm not judging somebody if they're gay or not, but I just feel like the values are different and the wants and needs are different. I just feel like if you're gay, you are tattered to your group and you kind of advocate more for that group. And you may not necessarily, like worry, that like in other words, that's where your focus will be. But they announced Richie Torres as the winner of the race. And now he finds himself waiting because they were saying, oh, well, all the ballots weren't counted or something like that. So they're still counting ballots in that situation. So that just goes to show you. And this election happened when? When did this happen? When, in May, June? I mean, it's no reason why they shouldn't. If this mail-in ballot thing is so good and they have everything down so well and it's so important that we participate in mail-in voting and it's so much better, by now that race should have been called. Richie Torres, Ruben Diaz, or whatever, that should have been called. I don't know why they're still counting votes. But it just goes to show you that it's not effective. It's not effective at all. It's ineffective. Okay, and also the census is another debacle because I mailed in my census, and since then I've had people at my apartment maybe like 7 different times, and I feel like they're trying to get me to commit perjury because enough people are not filling out the census form. So I feel like they're trying to double back and harass the people who did their duties, who took the responsibility serious and filled out the census. So I'm a person, I walk into my post office, I go in and, I drop it in the box on the inside. I don't use the blue boxes. I'm not a blue box, person. It's fabulous when you have a home because you could just stick it there. The mailman, I miss living in a home. But anyway, that's what we go through here. So they receive my ballot. Everything I mail off, people get. So they receive the census form, and I believe they're harassing myself and a few other people in the building because we were responsive. We did fill out our census on time and sent them in. So they want to get us to fill out more, and maybe allegedly, let me say allegedly, they are trying to commit, some kind of fraud because everybody is not filling it out because, I know there are a lot of illegal, people living around in the area. So, if I'm worried about getting deported, if I fill something out, you're not going to fill it out. It doesn't matter how much you tell me, nothing's going to happen. Fill it out. This for money in your community. If I'm thinking I might get deported, I'm not filling it out. So if I need money and I'm trying to get money, de Blasio's desperate for money. So allegedly, if you really hard up for money, what's duplicating some census to, just to pull that money in? Allegedly. Okay. But like I said, that's too long of a ramble right there. But I just wanted to let you know that relax. We're voting for Trump on November 3rd. It doesn't matter what kind of stupid stories, unvetted stories, secret sources that they come out with, nobody cares. They're gonna come out with all. I'm surprised they haven't come out with they found somebody that he's done murdered. Oh, President Trump murdered. We found the skeleton on Fifth Avenue, and we know it was from Trump. Just like the vehicle. Now, the vehicle here in New York, I don't, everybody's not from New York. There was a protest because a guy was murdered in Rochester 5 months ago. And they decided to have a protest here in New York, a different part, downstate New York. That's Rochester is upstate New York. But they decided to hit Times Square and do a protest, and somebody drove through. Now they quickly said, "Oh, that car is from a Trump. We seen the car at a Trump rally." First of all, who drives cars in rallies? The only vehicles you see in rallies is the golf cart rallies and the boat rallies. Those are the rallies that you see people using vehicles. When you see Trump rallies and they on, people are on the ground, nobody has a car in the rally. And there was no sticker on there. There was no flag on there saying Trump. I want to know how they know that it was a Trump supporter and not just a fed up, frustrated driver who you were blocking their way. You heard him beeping the horn. He beeped the horn several times and they were just like, F you. So, people, this is New York. And you don't get out of people's way. Hey, it can happen to you. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying get out the way. Get out the way. I mean, don't block up the streets. I don't know if that they had a permit to even do that. So you blocking up the street and people want to get home. They got things they want to do or whatever, but right away, oh yeah, we seen the car at the Trump rally. How the hell you seen this car at a Trump rally? It gets more and more ridiculous every day, every single day. But this is the quiet before the storm. Right now, it's going to be, something in the end of this month or in October. I'm expecting something to go down because these people are very sneaky. They are very evil. What else I wanted to talk about? Briefly, I wanted to talk about the SB 1452, just to jump off this. But remember, you come back and look at the video and look at these pictures and, where I was going with it. But let me see if I could just pull that up because I don't see how anybody. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Thank you. I don't see how anybody would be voting Democrat. I would be so disgusted. And I don't know what's going on with the governing body out in California. Not the people there, but the governing body is sick and disgusted. Now Kamala Harris endorsed this guy. His name is Weiner. His name should be up here. Okay, it'll be down here. Kamala Harris endorsed this guy, Senator Weiner, another Weiner. And I'm just going to go right here because The debate on Twitter is the people who are down with this and don't see anything wrong with this. The debate is it's a 14 and a 17-year-old. Like teenagers are precious too, sweetheart. I get that people look at teenagers like they're grown, you look at them like grown people, but these are still people developing. I remember myself at 14, 17, dumb as hell, doing all kind of stupid things. And I was in my right to do that because of my age. I'm not doing the things that I did at 17. I don't think the same way that I think at 17, at 43. I'm 43. Why would I be doing things that I'll be doing at 17? So I'm just going to read this line, and I hope that it discusses you as much as it discusses me. This bill would exempt from mandatory registration under the act a person convicted of certain offenses involving minors if the person is not more than 10 years older than the minor, and if that offense is the only one requiring the person to register. So basically, if you have never committed any other crimes, which those kind of weirdo people usually are not like hardcore criminals. Their thing is, kitty time. Kitty time is that's their theme for their life or whatever. Kitty time. So this is saying openly right here. I didn't see anywhere, and I went through all of this. I even took the liberty of going over some of the codes and down here, whatever. And I didn't see anything where it said anything about being 14 or 17. But this is how Senator Weiner was trying to present it. He was trying to say, like, there are people who have been found out, and because the boyfriend is 17 and the younger boyfriend is 14 and they were intimate, then they're making them register as a sex offender, and that's not right. Like, gay love is right, all love is right. This is about love, and you cannot trust these people, because if it's about those specific ages, they should put the ages here. Why would you leave this like this? This is, if you went into court with this and your child, you could lose, because the only thing it says is minors. And that as long as the person is not more than 10 years older than that minor, they don't have to register. And as long as they haven't been caught, it's not that they haven't been, doing these weird deeds, it's that they haven't been found out. So that's why there's no record of them. Okay, so this is disgusting. This bill is disgusting. Right now, the only state that has this bill, they just passed this, is California. So that might be another reason why a lot of people are leaving, I'm not talking about suspicious people, but that's probably another reason why people are getting up out of California, because they're worried about their children. And that's a loophole. By just using the word minor, that's a huge loophole. Because I'm thinking the worst of the worst. I'm thinking a 10-year-old child, 10 plus 10 is 20. Can a 10-year-old be somebody's boyfriend? Can a 10-year-old be the boyfriend of a 20-year-old? And could that 20-year-old not get in trouble because he's only 10 years older than the 10-year-old? So, it's just something to think about, how sick and weird these people are. But this wasn't really supposed to be about that. I should have actually did a separate video, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I talked about everything. I'm glad we talked about, Steve Jobs' widower, Lorraine Jobs. And, yeah. So that's it. Like I said, Trump 2020. And I'm out. Let me stop sharing my screen because it's extremely hot. I got to turn my air conditioner back on, guys. It's killing me. But have a good evening, a good day, good afternoon, and goodbye.